Welcome to my channel. Timeless narrative. Now, let us briefly look at the timeline of the coming of the Europeans to India and their struggle for supremacy, early European exploration. 1498, Vasco da Gama's arrival. Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer, reaches Calicut, modern-day Kozhikode, Kerala, on the west coast of India. This marks the beginning of European maritime exploration to India. The Portuguese established the first European sea route to India, bypassing the overland Silk Route controlled by the Arabs. 1500, Pedro Álvares Cabral reaches India. Pedro Álvares Cabral, another Portuguese explorer, arrives on the west coast of India at Kochi, Kerala. The Portuguese soon establish a monopoly over the spice trade and dominate the Indian Ocean routes. 1510, Portuguese capture Goa. The Portuguese, under Afonso de Albuquerque, capture Goa, which becomes the center of Portuguese colonial administration in India for centuries. Goa becomes an important trade and military base for Portugal in the Indian Ocean. Arrival of the Dutch. 1602, Dutch East India Company founded. The Dutch East India Company, a VOC, is established. The Dutch challenge Portuguese dominance by establishing their own trading posts in India and Southeast Asia. They begin to control the spice trade, especially in areas like Malabar and the Spice Islands, modern-day Indonesia. 1619, Dutch establish Batavia. The Dutch establish Batavia, modern-day Jakarta, in Indonesia, further consolidating their control over Southeast Asia and trade routes, gradually pushing the Portuguese out of key markets. The British East India Company. 1600, formation of the English East India Company. Queen Elizabeth I grants a royal charter to the English East India Company, EIC, marking the beginning of Britain's direct involvement in the Indian trade. The company is granted a monopoly on trade between England and the East Indies, including India. 1615, English ambassador to Mughal court. Sir Thomas Roe, the English ambassador, arrives at the Mughal court of Emperor Jahangir. This is a significant moment as it opens the door for English trade in India. The English gain permission to establish a factory, trading post, in Surat, Gujarat. 1639, foundation of Madras. The British East India Company purchases land from the local ruler to establish the city of Madras, now Chennai. This becomes an important British stronghold in India. 1668, foundation of Bombay, Mumbai. The British East India Company takes control of the islands of Bombay, modern Mumbai, from the Portuguese, becoming an important base for British trade and later colonial administration. The French in India. 1664, formation of French East India Company. The French East India Company is established by Jean-Baptiste Colbert, a minister under King Louis XIV. The French begin to challenge the Portuguese and Dutch dominance by setting up trading posts in India. 1674, establishment of Pondicherry. The French establish a trading post at Pondicherry, modern Puducherry, on the southeastern coast of India. It becomes the center of French colonial activities in India. 1756, Battle of Plassey, British victory. The British East India Company, led by Robert Clive, defeats Siraj-ud-Daulah, the Nawab of Bengal, at the Battle of Plassey. This victory gives the British significant political control over Bengal and a foothold in India, marking a crucial turning point in their dominance. The Dutch decline. 17th to 18th century, Dutch struggles for supremacy. The Dutch were once strong competitors in India, but over time, they begin to lose ground due to wars with the Portuguese, British pressure, and an increasingly centralized British control in the region. By the late 1700s, the Dutch are largely ousted from the Indian subcontinent. The French-British rivalry. 1757 to 1763, 7 Years' War, a Third Carnatic War. The French and British struggle for supremacy in India, with the British East India Company emerging victorious after the defeat of French General Dupleix. The Treaty of Paris, 1763, cements British dominance in India, and the French lose many of their Indian territories, retaining only Pondicherry. 1761, Third Battle of Panipat. Though primarily a contest between the Marathas and the Durrani Empire, the Third Battle of Panipat weakens the Marathas, who were previously a major rival to the British. This opens the door for British consolidation of power in India. British expansion and consolidation. 1773, Regulating Act of 1773. The British government passes the Regulating Act to regulate the activities of the British East India Company and establish more direct control. This act marks the beginning of British governmental control over India. 1857, Indian Rebellion of 1857. The first large-scale rebellion against British rule, known as the Sepoy Mutiny or Indian Rebellion of 1857, breaks out. The British East India Company is blamed for the rebellion's causes, and as a result, the British government assumes direct control over India in 1858, ending the rule of the East India Company and establishing the British Raj. The final stage, British Raj, 1858 to 1947. 1858, beginning of British Raj. After the suppression of the 1857 rebellion, the British government takes over India from the East India Company, initiating the British Raj. The British monarch becomes the official ruler of India, with India governed by a British-appointed viceroy. The European struggle for supremacy in India was defined by intense competition among the Portuguese, Dutch, French, and British. The British ultimately emerged victorious, consolidating control over large parts of India by the mid-19th century. The legacy of European colonialism in India had a profound impact on the country's political, economic, and social structures, which lasted until India's independence in 1947.